Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. This is the complete chapter 46, the history of Agnitirtha from Mahabharata. You can find the original Sanskrit texts and transliteration by following the link in the description. So let us begin.
Vaishampayana said, "Listen now to the numbers of the mothers, those destroyers of foes, O hero that became the companions of Kumara, as I name them. Listen, O Bharata, to the names of those illustrious mothers. Those auspicious ones permeate the mobile and immobile universe. Prabhavati, Vishalakshi, Palita, Gostani, Srimati, Bahula, Bahuputrika, Apsujata, Gopali, Brihadambalika, Jayavati, Mawatika, Dhruvaratna, Vayankari, Vasudama, Dama, Vishoka, Nandini, Ekachuda, Mahatuda, Chakranemi, Uttajani, Jayatsana, Kamalakshi, Shobhana, Shatranjaya, Krodana, Shalabi, Kari, Madhavi, Shubhavaktra, Tirthanemi, Gitapriya, Kalyani, Rudraroma, Amitashana, Megasvana, Bhogavati, Subru, Kanakavati, Alatakshi, Viryavati, Vidyujiva, Padmavati, Sunakstra, Kandara, Bahuyojana, Santanika, Kamala, Mahabala, Sudama, Bahudama, Suprabha, Yashasvini, Nrityapriya, Shatalukalamekla, Shataganta, Shatananda, Bhagananda, Bhavini, Bapushmati, Chandrashita, Bhadrakali, Ukshambika, Nishkutika, Vama, Chatvaravasini, Sumangala, Svastimati, Buddhikama, Jayapriya, Danadat Suprasada, Bhavadajalashvari, Idi, Bedi, Samadi, Vetalajanani, Kandudi, Kalika, Devamitra, Vasushri, Kotara, Chitrasena, Achala, Kukudika, Shankalika, Shakunika, Kundarika, Kaukulika, Kumbika, Shatodari, Ukrarthani, Jalela, Mahavega, Kankana, Manojava, Kandakini, Pragasa, Putana, Kishayantri, Triti, Vamakroshana, Tadit Prabha, Mandodari, Mundi, Kotara, Megavahini, Subhaga, Lambani, Lamba, Tamrachuda, Vikashini, Urdvavenidara, Pingakshi, Lohamekala, Prithivastra, Madhulika, Madhukumba, Pakshalika, Matkulika, Jarayu, Jarjarana, Kyata, Dahadaha, Damadama, Kandakanda, Pusana, Manakudika, Amoga, Lambapayodara, Venuvinanagara, Pingakshi, Lohamekala, Shasholukamukhi, Krishna, Karajanga, Mahajava, Shishumaramuki, Shveta, Lohitakshi, Vibhishana, Jatalika, Kamachari, Dirgajiva, Balatkata, Kalahika, Vamanika, Mukuda, Lohitakshi, Mahakaya, Haripind, Akatvacha, Sukusuma, Krishnakarni, Shurakarni, Chatashkarni, Karnapravaran, Chatashpathanikeda, Gokarni, Mahishana, Karakarni, Mahakarni, Bariswana Mahasvana, Shankakumbashrava, Bhagada, Mahabala, Gana Sugana, Abiti, Kamada, Chatashpathara, Bhuti, Tirthanyagochari, Pashuda, Vidada, Sukada, Mahayasha, Payoda, Gomahishada, Suvishala Pratishta, Supratishta, Rachaman, Surochana, Nakarni, Mukhakarni, Vishira, Manthani, Ekachandra, Megakarna, Megamala, Virochan. These and many other mothers, O foremost of Bharata's race, numbering by thousands, of diverse forms, became the followers of Kartikeya. Their nails were long, teeth were large, and lips, O Bharata, were projecting. Of straight forms and handsome features, all of them, endowed with youth, were adorned with ornaments. Of ascetic merit, they were capable of assuming forms at will. Not having fleshy limbs, they were of fair complexions and glistering with the luster of gold. Some were dark and looked like clouds in hue, and some were the color of smoke, the best of Bharata's race. And some were endued with the effulgence of the morning sun and were highly blessed. Possessed of long tresses, they were clad in wet dresses. The braids of some were tied upwards, and the eyes of some were tawny, and some had long girdles. Some had long stomachs, some had long ears, and some had long breasts. Some had coppery eyes and a coppery appearance, and some had green eyes. Capable of granting boons and of walking at will, they were always cheerful. Possessed of great strength, some amongst them partook of the nature of Yama, some of Rudra, some of Soma, some of Kuvera, some of Varuna, some of Indra, and some of Agni, O destroyer of foes. Some were of the nature of Vayu, some of Kumara, some of Brahman, and O foremost of Bharata's race, some of Vishnu, some of Surya, and some of Varaha. They had handsome and delightful features and were beautiful, like the Apsaras. In voice, they resembled the Indian cuckoo, representing divine or auspicious qualities, and in wealth, Kuvera. In battle, their energy resembled that of Chakra, and their luster resembled fire. They always struck terror into their enemies. Capable of assuming any form at will, they resembled the very wind in fleetness. Of inconceivable power and great energy, their prowess was also unthinkable. They live in trees and open spots and crossings of 4 roads. They live also in caves and crematoriums, mountains and springs. Bedecked with various ornaments, they wear multiple dresses and speak different languages. These and many other fairs of the mothers, all capable of terrorizing the enemies, followed the great Kartikeya at the command of the king of gods. Then, the revered Lord Indra, the ruler of the gods, gave him a divine energy-infused weapon. O tiger among kings, it was given for the destruction of the gods' enemies. That dart produces a loud sound and is adorned with many large bells. It has excellent luster and seems to blaze with light. Indra also gave him a banner that was as effulgent as the morning sun. Shiva gave him a large, highly dreadful army armed with various weapons and endowed with great energy of ascetic penances. Invincible and possessing all the qualities of a good army, that force was known as Dhananjaya. It was protected by 30,000 warriors, each powerful like Rudra himself. That force knew not how to fly from battle. Vishnu gave him a triumphal garland that increases the power of the wearer. Uma gave him 2 pieces of cloth, effulgent like the sun. With great pleasure, Skanda gave Kumara a celestial water pot, begotten from ambrosia, and Brihaspati gave him a sacred stick. Garuda gave him his favorite son, a peacock of beautiful feathers. Aruna gave him a cock of sharp talons. The royal Varuna gave him a mighty shake. The Lord Brahma gave him, his devout devotee, a black deer skin. And the creator of all the worlds also gave him victory in all battles. Having obtained the command of the celestial forces, Skanda shone like a blazing fire of bright flames. Accompanied by those companions and the mothers, he set out to destroy the demons, cheering up all the foremost of the celestials. That terrible army of celestials, furnished with standards, adorned with bells and equipped with drums and cymbals, armed with weapons and decked with many banners, shone like the autumnal sky bespangled with planets and stars. Then that vast host of celestials and various other creatures began to beat their drums cheerfully and blow their conchs, numbering in the thousands. And they also played on their padahas, jarjaras, krikachas, cow horns, adambaras, gomukas, and dindimas of loud sound. All the gods, with Vasava at their head, lauded Kumara. The celestials and the Gandharvas sang and the Apsaras danced. Well pleased with these attentions, Skanda granted a boon to all the celestials, saying, "I shall kill all the enemies that wish to kill you." The illustrious gods considered their enemies already killed after getting this boon from that best of celestials. After Skanda had granted that boon, a tremendous sound arose from all those creatures, full of joy and filling the 3 worlds. Accompanied by that vast army, Skanda then started the destruction of the Daityas and the protection of the celestial beings. Exertion, victory, righteousness, success, prosperity, courage, and the scriptures, in their embodied forms, followed Kartikeya's army, O king. With that awe-inspiring force, armed with lances, mallets, blazing hands, maces, heavy clubs, arrows, darts, spears, and beautiful ornaments and armor, the divine Guha set out with leonine roars. Beholding him, all the Daityas, Rakshasas, and Danavas, overcome with fear, dispersed in all directions. The gods pursued them, armed with various weapons. Seeing the enemy flying away, the energetic and powerful Skanda became swollen with anger. He repeatedly hurled his terrible weapon, the dart he had received from Agni. His energy then resembled a fire fed with libations of clarified butter. While Skanda repeatedly hurled the dart of unfathomable energy, Meteors, O king, dropped upon the earth. Thunderbolts also, with tremendous noise, dropped upon the earth. Everything looked terrible, O king, as on the day of the universal dissolution. When the son of Agni once hurled that terrible dart, millions of darts came out of it, O best of Bharatas. The powerful and worshipful Skanda, filled with joy, killed Taraka, the chief of the Daityas. Endued with great energy and prowess, Taraka was surrounded by 100,000 heroic and powerful Daityas in that battle. O king, surrounded by 10,000 powerful Daitya warriors and supported by 10 Balas, strong beings. Mahisha, the buffalo demon, was also protected in battle by 8 Padmas, divisions of his army. Yet he was slain in the battle. The powerful Skanda then overpowered Hradadara, who was encircled by 10 Nikarvas of Daityas, with all his followers armed with various weapons. Filling the 10 points of the horizon, the followers of Kumara, O king, made a loud noise while those Daityas were being killed and danced and jumped and laughed in joy. Thousands of Daityas, O king, were reduced to ashes by the flames that came out of Skanda's arrow, while others died at the very roars of Skanda. The 3 worlds were terrified at Skanda's soldiers' yawns. Skanda's flames consumed the enemies, and his roars killed many. Some of the enemies of the Celestials were struck with banners and were killed. Some, frightened by the sounds of bells, dropped on the face of the earth. Some were wounded with weapons and fell dead. In this way, the heroic and powerful Kartikeya killed numberless enemies of the gods, mighty, who came to fight with him. Then Vali's powerful son Vana, getting upon the Krauncha Mountain, fought with the celestial army. Highly intelligent, the great generalissimo Skanda rushed against that enemy of the gods. Fearing Kartikeya, he took shelter within the Krauncha Mountain. Then, with his mighty weapon, the great angered Kartikeya split the Krauncha, the crane, which was crying out in agony, using the Shakti weapon that Agni bestowed. That mountain was variegated with shala trees. The monkeys and elephants that lived on it were frightened. The birds that had lived there rose and wheeled around in the sky. The serpents began to dart down its sides. It resounded also with the cries of many leopards and bears that ran hither and thither in fright. Other forests on it rang with the cries of hundreds of animals. Sharabas and lions suddenly ran out. Despite all this, though reduced to a pitiable condition, that mountain still shone beautifully. Vidyaras living on its summits soared into the air. The Kinnaras also became very anxious, bewildered by the fear caused by the fall of Skanda's arrow. The Daityas then, by hundreds and thousands, came out of that burning mountain, all bedecked with beautiful ornaments and garlands. The followers of Kumara, overpowering them in battle, killed them all. The worshipful Skanda worked up with ire and killed the son of the Daitya chief, Vali, along with his younger brother, as Indra had killed Vritra formerly. The destroyer of hostile heroes, the Agni's son, pierced with his dart the Krauncha Mountain, sometimes dividing himself into many and sometimes aggregating them all into one. Repeatedly discharged by him, the arrow repeatedly came back to him. Indeed, such was the power and glory of the worshipful son of Agni. With redoubled heroism, energy, fame, and success, the god pierced the mountain and killed hundreds of Daityas. Having thus slain the enemies of the Celestials, the worshipful god was worshipped and honored by the latter and was incredibly delighted. After the Krauncha Mountain had been pierced and the son of Chanda had been killed, drums were beat, O king, and conchs were blown. The celestial ladies showered flowers continually upon that divine lord of yogins. Auspicious winds began to blow, carrying divine perfumes. The Gandharvas and great rishis always engaged in the performance of sacrifices and sang his praises. Some spoke of him as the powerful son of the grand sire, Sanat Kumara, the eldest of all the sons of Brahma. Some described him as the son of Maheshvara, and some as that of Agni. Some spoke of him as the son of Uma, Kritikas, or Ganga. Hundreds and thousands of people described that lord of yogins of shining form and great might as the son of one of those, or either of two of those, or any one of four of those. I have thus told you, O king, everything about the installation of Kartikeya. Listen now to the history of the sanctity of that best of Tirthas on the Sarasvati. That best of Tirthas, O king, after the enemies of the celestials had been killed, became a second heaven. The mighty son of Agni gave each of those leading celestials various kinds of dominion, wealth, and, finally, the sovereignty of the three worlds. Thus, O king was that adorable destroyer of the Daityas installed by the gods as their generalissimo. That other Tirtha, O best of Bharatas, where in days of yore Varuna, the lord of water, had been installed by the celestials, is known by the name of Taijasa. After bathing in that Tirtha and adoring Skanda, Rama gave the Brahmins gold, clothes, ornaments, and many other things. Passing one night there, that killer of hostile heroes, Madhava, lauding that foremost of Tirthas and touching its water, became cheerful and happy. I have now told you everything about which you had inquired, how the celestials installed the divine Skanda.
This is it. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this. If you are looking for more Vedic texts, holy names, and mantras, please visit our channel or website. Links are in the description. Namaste.